All right, so today we are assembling a massive low poly waving bear. I designed this bear after the bears you see in the parks that have learned to wave back at humans. Turns out people have been feeding them food and waving at these bears for so long, bears just associate waving with getting food. So anyway, that's where this comes from. So how I get to this stage though is quite the process. So first I design the bear in Blender and I shape it and I pose it, right? From then Blender, I open up another program called Pepakura, which I break it all down into its number of sheets and the best shape for each one of these pieces. From Pepakura, I open up in SolidWorks and I clean up these lines for the bend lines and I make these little tabs so it's a little bit easier to work with. And then from SolidWorks, I then open it up in PlasmaCam where we actually get to do the cutting. From PlasmaCam, then I just clean up all the sheets and then I sit in front of the computer and I start writing all the numbers down for all the edges and the bend angles. Once we have those bend angles, now we can start actually bending them, but actually assembling the bear. So let's do some time lapse and we'll get this bear together. All right, so you can see that went together pretty quick. I've only got a couple of tack welds on each seam right now, but you can see the size of them already. Like that's just his nose. So it's gonna be a pretty big bear when it's all said and done. So let's keep, I'll find the lower corresponding numbers, bend them up and tack them together. We'll just keep going. All right, so that's it for the head of the bear. It's only tacked together at this point. I could weld it completely together at this point because it would be a lot easier to do now when I can move it around, because you can imagine once this thing's all together, this thing's gonna get pretty damn heavy, and it's a lot easier to wheel this thing around now and weld up all the seams while you still can, you know? But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the rest of the bear together, or at least get the body going. And then I can weld the body, I can weld the head, I can weld the arms, weld the legs, and then attach those pieces to the body. So let's get making the body. right, so that's it for his lower section. Now, I think because of his size and his weight, he's getting a little too heavy to wield around on the tabletop here. I think it's time I transfer him to the ground so we can start welding from his arms up and maybe attach his head. So let's get him on the ground and keep going. So that's it. It actually came together pretty quickly. It really helped out to actually have somebody finding the panels for me, because it was pretty easy to bend the panels and locate them. But finding the panels in the piles of the corresponding number was a bit of a challenge. But of course, as you go through the panels, you get less and less panels, and it's easier to find the ones you're looking for. But the wife actually came in and helped me out with that one, so that was actually pretty handy. So now, there's a lot of welding to be done. I have a couple of panels to still put in here, but I'm just gonna start welding the entire thing. I did weld the arms completely when they were off, so now I just have to weld the outside of it. I'm only going to weld the joints that I tack together. I'm not going to weld the seams there with the splits in it, the bend lines. I still have a plan to put a light inside of this one, and actually we were talking about putting a solar panel on his head and then just hanging a light down through the center of it so at nighttime it would sort of glow. Undecided, we could actually put some eyeballs in them and, you know, really go to town on the level of creativity. I might actually change his paws around to look like bear paws and put some claws on it, but, you know, if you've got the capability to build it, you can probably got the capability to readdress his paws or change them around a little bit to suit your needs. So let's keep welding. All right, so now the bear is completely welded up. I did go ahead and give him some more character by making these paws for him. In my case, I made the pads and the claws out of stainless, and then you don't see the bottoms of the pads on the other feet, but you do see the claws sticking out. And after the bear completely rusts up, I think that'd be kind of neat to see the stainless edges poking out there. So yeah. Anyway, let's get him outside and see what he looks like. All right, so I know what you're thinking. You want to build your own bear, don't you? No problem, because in the description below, I've left a link to my Etsy store where you can now download the plans for this bear. In those plans, you can not only get all the DXF files to cut all this out however you want, but also all the files that show you the bend angles and the edge IDs. Plus, I made a whole other how-to video, how this thing went together. So, yeah, and if there are any other animals that you think I should make, please leave them in the comments down below, or different poses. I'm always open for fun suggestions, right? And the bigger the better. I really want to make a Sasquatch. Just park them out in the woods and somebody driving by sees a giant metal Sasquatch, 8-foot tall Sasquatch out in the woods. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Either way, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, subscribe. Thanks very much for watching.